Alright fam, here is the thing. This is the headline that we've seen yesterday, and everybody's talking about it, and everybody's bullish, and everybody thinks that we're going to the moon from here, $150,000 Bitcoin. And seems like I'm the only one, but I think that a lot of people missed two very important points in this publication. Now, if you're out of the loop, there was an announcement, there was an executive order signed by Donald Trump yesterday that put this crypto machine, crypto regulation, reserve stockpile, Bitcoin stuff into motion. But a lot of people missed the main point. And this is what I'm going to talk about today. And I publicly shared with you on my X that I actually closed 70% or 80% of my positions, and I've taken even a hedge short, which again I would never advise you to do. But I'm going to explain to you why I think that, and I do think this is a very, very important show that you have to watch today, because you have to close out the noise and really just take the facts. And this is what we're going to do today, guys. If you don't know who I am, my name is Fefe. This is not my normal setup, but here we are. I am bringing you the best offer from the past 24 hours. Simplify crypto so you understand everything, and obviously arm you with the most important news for the next 24 hours. How you can protect your bag, how you can make more money, how you can take trades. We're going to analyze charts, analyze your trades, and much more. This is a pre-record, which is unusual, but let's jump into it. So, of course, please smash and obliterate the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and there's a link in the description to my X profile where I can update you every single second of every single day, so you might want to check that out as well. So here is what really happened, okay? So Donald Trump signs executive order to create a working group. Okay, this is the news, and then obviously starts coming in and everything happens. While the whole news comes out today morning, I think it's important to mention before I even start talking about what really happened with Trump is that I wrote a whole thread, and my whole show yesterday was about how the Bank of Japan rate hike is going to be a nothing burger. And if you missed that, again, it's on my X profile. I wrote like a whole thread explaining what it is and why it's important. But as expected, and as I explained yesterday on the show, while everybody was fudding and everybody was saying that we're going to nuke, exactly happened what I said was going to happen. They did have the 25% rate hike, pushing the interest rate up to 0.5%, and the market didn't even flinch. And if you missed the show yesterday, check that out, or you can read my thread. It explains everything. But this is one thing. Yesterday I told you nothing going to happen. Nothing happened. Today, when everybody's saying that we're going to the moon, I'm telling you that we might not. So it's important to pay attention. Donald Trump is saying that the news started coming out yesterday that said that Donald Trump signed an executive order to create a crypto working group. Now, everybody was speculating what is really going to happen here and all that. And so there is a summary here what this executive order is. Now, it's very important for those of you who are not familiar with the whole United States politics. The president has the power to write executive orders. Now, these executive orders are imprints. They don't have to go through Senate or the House. There is certain guidelines, obviously, how these can be done, but the president can order different departments, different people, different agencies to do different tasks, and even create laws that needs to be followed within the legal framework, obviously. So one of the executive orders that are immediately implementable, so it's immediately, as the moment that is signed, it is applicable. And so here's a summary of what this new executive order was. So the executive order established, also very important, I know I said that we're going to jump in here, but also very important that we've been waiting for a catalyst, okay? So first, we've been waiting for, will he free Russ? He did. Congratulations, good. Then we've been waiting, will he announce a reserve? And as you can see also on the market is quite toppy here. So like we can see a bunch of tokens flying, of course, but in general, if you look at the charts, the market sentiment is not like we're going to all-time highs tomorrow. And so I think what everybody is waiting for is the announcement of the National Reserve, the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve for the United States. But if you look at the charts, or if you look at Bento Bubbles here as well, you see some of the tokens are obviously up, but if you look at the hourly, we're down. If you look at the weekly, we're completely down. So it's like there's undecisiveness in the market, but most importantly, I think there is misunderstanding on what does this announcement really actually mean. So let's go through here. The executive order, this is what Trump signed yesterday. Okay, so it's already a signed executive order. The executive order establishes the president working group. That's good. That's like a group that works for a specific purpose on digital asset markets. Okay, so that's basically cryptos. To strengthen U.S. leadership in digital finance. Very good. So this is a very good news. This is what we've been waiting for. We have an executive order regarding crypto. Fantastic. You go on further and it says the working group will be tasked with developing a federal regulatory framework. Very good. They will have to create a regulatory framework for crypto companies and projects to operate within the United States and investors. Very bullish, super cool. Okay, including stablecoins, very good stablecoin regulation as we had MiCA in Europe. And evaluating, and listen here, and evaluating the creation of a strategic national digital asset stockpile. I'm gonna get back to this, but this is a very, very important segment that I'm building this whole show on. So just to repeat, developing a federal regulatory framework and evaluating the creation of a strategic national digital assets. Okay, we're going to talk about this in a second. It also includes that it will be under the White House and it will be led by David Sachs, and it will include all the major Secretary of the Treasury, the chairman of the SEC. So it's actually like kind of like a complex thing, but it's very, very well written, well organized, very good. The White House AI and 𝗙𝗘𝗙𝗙 will engage in leading experts, digital assets and digital markets to ensure that the actions of the working group are informed. So like it's great. And then it says identifying market and making recommendations on how this could be better. It's very good also that the executive order prohibits agencies from undertaking any action to establish a CBDC, central bank digital currency. Trump promised that he's not going to allow the central bank to create its own currency because it's limiting freedom. Fantastic, very, very good. So he keeps his promises, and then I think it's good. So that's basically the order. Now there are a bunch of things that people are missing. Number one, if you look at this post, for example, immediately started spreading, and this is maybe what you have thought as well, that how bullish we are, that the President Trump signed crypto executive order to create a national digital asset stockpile. 4.2 million views. Where is that? Because from what I can read here, it says that it will be tasked to evaluate the creation of a strategic national digital asset stockpile. It doesn't say that he ordered to create a national digital asset stockpile. So there's a lot of misinformation, and one of the major things is two words in this sentence. One is evaluate. Now, obviously, they have the intention to do this, but there is no order to make this happen as of now. Trump did not order anyone to create not even a stockpile, but definitely not a reserve. So if you have a group that is being established now, and that group is openly being tasked with the task to evaluate the potential in creating a stockpile, that can take weeks and months and years potentially. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, I don't think it will take years, but it can definitely take months and months till Trump will have the time to look at it. Then the Senate has the time to look at it. Then House. Then, like, there's a lot of thought processes that go into it. And also, these guys are going to come together and start evaluating different things with market leaders. They're going to start thinking and ideating. And imagine how difficult it is to organize. And I know it's going to be a stupid example, but imagine how difficult it is to organize a meeting with your friends. Imagine that you have to pull all these brains together, leaders in the world, in the States, in different departments, and try to figure out and evaluate how this thing could run. Okay, so very important. One thing to clarify straight out of the bat, there is no order to create a digital asset stockpile. There's an order and a task for the group among a bunch of other tasks to evaluate whether it would be a great idea, and if it is, how could it be the great idea. The second thing I want to mention is that it says here digital assets stockpile. It doesn't say a Bitcoin stockpile, it says a digital asset stockpile. We're going to talk about that. But from all this, I tweeted this. Might be just me, but this is proper bearish short term. The working group will be tasked with the developing federal regulatory framework governing digital assets, including stablecoins, and evaluating the creation of the strategic national digital asset stockpile. This shows that they are not close to signing anything regarding the National Reserve. At least this is what I understand. I read it out and I said I am closing 70% of my leverage positions. So after I'm reading more and more about this, I'm taking off with a flight. And I'm reading, and I'm thinking about this whole thing, and I'm like, more and more I think about this, the more I think this is very, very short term. So I closed about 80% of my long positions. I still have long positions open. I didn't touch my spot positions, but I do think at this stage the risk reward is not there to leave my positions open. And thank God I did it, because it's already like I can already buy back 8% lower. But this is also the reason why I always tell you to follow me on X and turn on notifications, because I tweet about this stuff. I help you protect your capital. I make things simpler so you understand, for example, with this tweet where I actually told you what to look for in the whole thing. So it's worth following and turning on notifications, okay? There's a link in the description. Now, The important part here is that when you see these reports, people will think and people believe, whoever you ask will believe that there is gonna be a national Bitcoin reserve 100%, and that's just not correct. And the second is, it's not a Bitcoin reserve per se, okay? It's a digital asset stockpile, and there's a massive difference. First of all, it's not only Bitcoin, but other things as well. For example, this test here, stockpile is a jargon that means holding what they have, but not necessarily buying anything. That's not true, actually. So I mean, obviously you have to buy it at some point so you can have it. This is not what the definition is. I'm going to talk about it in a second. But according to Arkham, there is the coins that the USG holds over 1 million. So you have all these coins, and people started buying these because they're going to be the next national reserve currencies and whatnot. So let me clear some stuff out. One very important clarity that is needed: what is the difference between stockpile and a reserve? So a stockpile is a strategic emergency supply of critical materials or goods for short-term crisis response. So, for example, you can have medical aid, medical stockpile. If there's a fire in LA, if there is a hurricane or whatever that is, they have a stockpile that they're keeping and they can deploy immediately. A reserve is stored is a stored resource, asset, or commodity, for example, Bitcoin, maintained for long-term sustainability or future use. It's not for emergency situations. It's not for stockpiling something so we can touch it immediately. Now, I also looked into that, and the difference between a Bitcoin stockpile's definition is that the reserve is that the Bitcoin stockpile implies a strategic accumulation for short-term use or emergency purposes. Okay? While a Bitcoin reserve suggests a long-term holding for sustainability financial banking. This is what we've been waiting for. And it's very important. Now, if you are not in the business world, and if you don't do contracts, and if you're not in whatever, I'll tell you one thing. These guys didn't use the word stockpile because they just wanted to use this because it's fun. No, they used it on a specific purpose, because now what will happen? People don't really understand the difference. Even now I see people, major influencers, saying that this leads to a national reserve. No, it doesn't. It can potentially, but so far nobody mentioned the national reserve. Everybody's talking about digital asset stockpile. Okay, so the stockpile means that they have some currencies that they can immediately sell, for example, to free up funds and deploy at certain regions. Now, if you look actually into this is the actual executive order. You can read it on their website, and if you look in here, you will see. Let me just see here. I scrolled way through. Hold on a second, it was here. Where is it? See, here it is. The working group, so this is from the executive order itself, okay? The working group shall evaluate the potential creation and maintenance of a national digital asset stockpile. Maintenance, who they will custody with, how this whole thing will work, and the potential creation. So now we're at the point, it's from the executive order, that whoever tells you that it's a guarantee, Trump ordered to create a national reserve, it's false, completely false. So there's a discussion about a potential creation of a digital asset stockpile, okay? And the maintenance, and most importantly, the purpose criteria for establishing such a stockpile. Why do they do it? Why don't they call it reserve? Because then it will be long term. Trump can easily say, hey, we've got, and this is the second part, so just to finish my sentence, potentially derived from the cryptocurrencies lawfully seized by the federal government through its law enforcement efforts. So the government holds, for example, the Silk Road Bitcoins. There are a bunch of crypto that the government holds that is doing nothing there. So what Trump can do, first of all, he committed to, not committed, but he said that he is going to use Bitcoin as national reserve, right? We've been talking about it. So what he can do is that he creates a stockpile that he can liquidate at any time. It's not a reserve. It doesn't have to go through the same procedures. He can create this stockpile very easily and just simply run with the fact that I've done it. I've done whatever I promised. So just so you understand, this is coming again from the executive order itself. So they're talking about a potential creation. They're talking about that they have to identify the purpose, so they still don't have the purpose of doing this. This will just extend things. And most importantly, they will not purchase it. The primary objective is not to purchase extra crypto, which we thought was going to be, we're going to buy $1 million Bitcoins. No. It's coming from, is derived from the cryptocurrency lawfully seized by the federal government. Okay? Now, obviously, whether Trump will create a Bitcoin reserve in the first 100 days or not went from like 50% down to 20 or 19 in a very short period of time. And I do think that this is done. It's definitely not happening. I don't think you should be betting on this, but I don't think that we will have a Bitcoin reserve per se for now, and I don't think that we are going to have it within the first 100 days. So that's absolutely reasonable why it actually fell down. And then of course the Bitcoin maxi started coping, and they were like, if the USA adopts anything but Bitcoin as the strategic reserve, still people talk about reserves when that was not even mentioned. We have failed to educate our president, and it should be considered an act of treason against our country by whoever is promoting this behavior. Okay, so what is important in this whole situation is the following. There is no promise on a Bitcoin national reserve. It might not even happen. There is a potential discussion of potential creation of a digital asset stockpile that is not for a long-term hold future use, but is for a short-term put the fire out kind of stockpile that you can leverage and use anytime in any crisis time. Now, this is very bearish for me short-term, because we've been hanging on to the threat of Trump actually saying, oh, we're going to create a national reserve and it's going to be awesome. And so I think that this is what the market has been hanging on. And once people start understanding what I just explained to you, which is going to happen very shortly in my opinion, we're going to see massive sell-offs, because people who bought for the pump, how many of you thought, and be very honest with you, and now that we're talking about honestly, I would like you to smash the like and just obliterate the like button and subscribe to the channel and come back every day and follow me next and do all that stuff that I usually say. And so how many times did you think, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just long Bitcoin here. I'm going to wait for the announcement and I'm going to get out. Well, let me tell you something. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of people thinking the same thing. And once they start understanding that, oh shit, the Bitcoin reserve is not necessarily happening, and even if it is, it's not happening in the next 3 or 4 months, well, what am I waiting for? Like, I'm hoping for this cycle to continue, but there is no real reason why this should start pumping now. Anyway, so David Sachs, that doesn't mean that it's not good for the industry long term. It is extremely good for the industry long term. Extremely good. I do think that we're going to get a massive bull market. I do think that long term nothing changed. I mean, things changed because things changed for the better, but the idea behind the massive bull market 2025 is actually insane. I reposted this on my X, and you should go and check this out because it's an incredible video with David Sachs, who is the AI and crypto czar. We're going to link it down in the description, so you will be able to see David Sachs, so you will be able to see the link to this post. Watch this video. It's a 6-minute video, and he outlines the future ahead and basically simplifies what they're going to work on throughout this executive order. It's an incredible video, and you should watch it for the long term to understand what the long term potential here is. What Miles retweeted as well and said is that I do believe I hope this is playing out. I've been telling you that the market will probably end, the bull market will end around April, May. I don't think that no more, because if my theory is right and people start understanding this, there will be a sell-off that could go into a month, 2 months long consolidation before any proper breakout, and that could push the massive rally a little bit later into the year. So we're yet to see what is really going to happen, but this is definitely good that we have a little bit of cool-off and we have a little bit of consolidation before we get, if we would have gotten Ross Freed, Trump in office, rate cuts, which Trump emphasized that he's going to make sure that this happens, the Bank of Japan increasing rates, and that we would get the National Reserve, everything would come in 2 months and it's gone. So I'm actually very happy that it's like being dripped to us. But let's look at the charts for a second here. Because it's very, very important. Now, on the total market cap, it's very, very important. What I said previously is that we have a massive liquidity built up here. But again, I do not think this is going to get taken because of the reasons that I explained. What are the scenarios? Number one, I still think this is the scenario. I still think that we are going to see, so it's not starting from here, but I do think we are going to see a dippy dip down here, potentially down to the 3.29. So that would be on current levels about a 7% drop. Possibly 15-20% of most of your coins, and some of them are already starting to drop, as you see here. So on the week, we do see some of the tokens down massive. Pengu 22%, Say 15%, ICP 20%, Orb 7%, Tau 17%, Sonic 30%. So you already see some of these drops happening, but I do think that is going to be even more severe. Maybe, very, very, very maybe we're gonna have a little bit of higher trending, whatever here. Maybe even week through. I don't think it's happening, but maybe, and then coming lower. Now here's what I'm thinking, and there is massive liquidity built up here. Here's what I'm thinking. We're probably going to come back to the 50% of this level here, which will be the 3.3 trillion mark. And if that happens, I'm going to look for a market structure shift and I'm going to take a long. But I see the potential, especially if we go into another consolidation. Do not underestimate this here. Do not underestimate this massive consolidation period after this whole Bank of Japan announcement. Do not underestimate this. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but possibly there is a possibility that this can happen. Maybe not till June, but definitely for a couple of months. And if you actually project this out here, and you actually pull the fib, this is coming back precisely to the 50%, not from here actually, from here. It's coming back precisely to the 50%, so could see a consolidation until March, and this is the major reason why I actually took a short. I told you that I'm taking a short position because I tweeted about it, and I also said it in the beginning of the show. So my short position is from around 103,000 something, and my stop loss is 111,000 up here at all-time highs. The reason is because I do have still long positions open, so it's rather a hedge short because I do believe the bull market will continue, but I just don't want to miss the opportunity of actually taking this short when it makes sense. I would never advise you to do this. This is the bull market. You should never short, but I want to be transparent as I always am, and I think this is important for you to know. What I'm looking at on Bitcoin is definitely down to sub 100. So I'm looking at 97, 98, and possibly the daily equilibrium down here at 88,000. This is something that I would not be surprised to see. So I would not be surprised to go down 85,000, and then of course most of the tokens just falling. Now guys, if you want an incredible exchange, I would recommend you check out 𝗙𝗘𝗙𝗙𝗪. They are non-KYC. That means you can simply just sign up with an email address and start using them immediately. You don't have to submit your ID and do all that stuff, which is pretty cool. They have massive sign-up bonuses. They have competitions going, and I'm on here as well. Look at this. But I love the exchange. Great fees, great opportunity, in my opinion. Go and check them out. You have to find out what exchange works the best for you. The major impact that I can give you now is that we can offer you deals that you couldn't get anywhere else. If you sign up using our link, you have massive bonuses. You can participate in competitions and much more. Go and try them out. And if you don't like them, just don't use them. But I believe that you are going to like them. There's a link in the description. That is 𝗙𝗘𝗙𝗪. All right. A couple of more news before I leave. One is OpenAI released its first AI agent. Now, I'll tell you one thing. I don't think AI agents in crypto are going to be... Everybody's saying, oh my God, future and what? It's great, but it all comes back to distribution. Okay, so what is this? It's basically the same thing as an AI agent. It goes onto the website and it books you a restaurant. It does everything that an AI agent does, but all with the backing of OpenAI. Now, OpenAI has, and I even tweeted about it, OpenAI has 120 million daily active users, ChatGPT, sorry, daily active users. I know that Griffin can do more and whatever, but you can have the best product in the world if you don't know how to sell it. And this is exactly what you can see here. OpenAI launched its first AI agent, and the crypto market is concerned. We've topped at less than 20, cornered, we've topped at less than 20 billion. So we'll see what is going to happen. I don't necessarily agree. I think what is really going to happen is that OpenAI and these giants will start dominating, and there's some aspects to crypto AI agents. For example, decentralized data that you can collect from different computers. We talked about 𝗙𝗘𝗙𝗙, we talked about 𝗙𝗘𝗙𝗙𝗙, we talked about all these different protocols that can actually, allow you to collect data from actual people. You don't have a censorship that OpenAI and ChatGPT has. But in general, I would not bet my life on AI agents at this stage, honestly. I think you have to hold them and you have to long them, but get out before the music stops playing. A cool chart from 𝗙𝗘𝗙𝗪, which is quite cool. He demonstrates very nicely that it's a good point that he makes, is that the market top is usually when the 200 weekly SMA, simple moving average, is crossing the previous all-time highs, as you see here, happened here. As at the moment it crossed the all-time high, it actually marked the top. Then here the same thing, marked the top, and then here the same thing, marked the top. So possibly this could happen now again in the next 3 to 5 to 6 months. I don't know yet, but this is a very cool post from 𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗪. And I wanted to mention one more thing, is that the reason why I also talk about charts, and if you don't turn on notifications on my X, if you don't come, if you don't check, I can't help you. You have to lock in, you have to be there. I literally am there Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, 1st of January. Like, I'm always there giving you alpha, telling you exactly what I'm doing, because I wish there was someone who showed me the same things. Okay, so I told you about this, and I want to play this clip. This is January 7th, and I said this about Rune. I don't have the best internet here in the hotel, so let me just see if it will load this up. But basically what I said, basically the whole point of this tweet and this thread is that we see things on the chart before they actually happen. So a lot of times you see what is happening on the chart and you don't know what the reason is for that to happen, but because you see it on the chart, you can take advantage of it and simply leverage it. This is what I said, January 7th. Yeah, I don't like what I'm seeing. That's the honest truth again. Same thing, trendline liquidity. I don't like what I'm seeing. I do not like. Rune can really fall. So I said Rune can really fall. This is actually the show. You can check it out again. It's on my X. And then this was the moment when I tweeted about it. You will see. I'm sorry about the internet. It's not the best. But I tweeted or I talked about this up here. Rune was like $5, 4.8, something like that. It's down 60% since then. And then, of course, if you scroll lower in the thread and you want to understand why, you will see that there is a whole thread on how they go insolvent and how this doesn't work. Now, Ren believes that the protocol will be fine, it will recover. I don't have enough knowledge to understand, or I don't have enough insights. I didn't look into it enough to understand and give you an idea of whether it will recover or not. But what I can tell you is that I've seen it in the chart on the 7th of January, and I warned you not to get in there. And if you did, I'm so sorry. I actually am genuinely sorry. But people DM me like, I've been in there, what to do? I can't help you, you know, so I can't, because I tried back then and I can't. So it's your responsibility. And this is why I always tell you to follow, turn on notifications, and just really pay attention. This is your chance to make life-changing wealth. And if you're ruining it with whatever you're doing, I don't think it's great. Guys, this is it. So I think you should take it. I take it with a little bit of caution. I think everybody who's telling you should long the shit out of this move, I don't think they understand what they're doing, or I might be completely wrong. And we'll see what happens. And you know, obviously, as every single time when I'm right or when I'm wrong, I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna explain to you next week Monday. Until then, tomorrow and Sunday, I'm dropping an insane show on Crypto Banter, the main channel, about scamming and about on-chain stuff. So like a lot of people ask me that I can't buy this token because it's not on Binance or it's not on Bybit, and I'm just going to show you very simple how you can actually do that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate you being here, smashing the like, following, and just really being here. I see the community growing and growing day by day, and it's an incredible feeling. And genuinely what really wakes me up every morning is to help you guys navigate the market. I wish I had someone like me here for you now, and it makes me very happy that you actually leverage, and people DM me and they say that, you know, it helped them and they got out of the position, they got in the position. It's very, very cool. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Check out these two videos, make sure to click on them and see what they are. You can click here to subscribe to the channel, and most importantly also make sure to come back for the next one next week, Monday to Friday, every single day. There's a link in the description to the video that I told you about 𝗙𝗘𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗪, to my X profile. Smash the follow, and I believe I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.